Welcome to What's the Buzz, the podcast that spotlights local business leaders, bold ideas, and the heartbeat of the South Shore. Produced by Marshfield Community Media and recorded at South Shore Hive, each episode features authentic conversations that inspire, inform, and energize. Whether you're starting out, scaling up, or giving back, this is where connection meets community. Buzz by and see what's happening. This episode of What's the Buzz is brought to you by Cote Law Group, trusted legal counsel for today's business leaders. From startup formation to contracts and corporate guidance, they're here to help your business thrive. Hi, everybody. Valerie McSorely here with another episode of What's the Buzz, where we talk to South Shore's movers and shakers. And today we have Marci Braken here, no exception to being a mover and shaker. She is one of the owners of Pink Chair Storytellers magazine. So Marci, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
This is so fun to have you here in our studio today. So tell us, what is Pink Chair Storytellers? Tell us about what the magazine is and how you got started.
All right. Pink Chair Storytellers is a quarterly publication. We actually do print, and we are a collection of women's stories, all told in first person. All the stories are told by the women themselves, how they experience journeys, how they experience different obstacles, wonderful experiences in their lives, and they share their stories with us in in the goal of finding connection and in the goal of finding community within our different experiences.
Love that. Yeah. So you do how many episodes a year?
We have 4 issues. So we're quarterly. Yep.
Okay.
Each one of our issues has a theme.
Okay.
Identity, power, advocacy, and connections, which we believe to be the pillars of a woman's life.
Awesome. Love that. So how did this get started?
It got started out of need.
Yeah.
It got started out of need. I was in the waiting room of the karate dojo.
That's where all good magazines get started, in the waiting room of the karate dojo.
Totally random. My son had been taking lessons there for a couple of years.
Cobra Kai?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
He had all Cobra Kai goals. And I walked in, and I have an older stepson, and like anything else, there was a woman who looked up from what she was reading, and she said, "Hi, how are you?" And I don't know what it was about her smile, about her face, and I was like, "Gosh, if you're really asking me, I am not good today. I am having an awful day." And she just very quietly put her things down. A little tap on the open seat next to her, and I sat down and I vented, and it was life-changing to find somebody who would just listen, to find somebody who I could tell my story to without shame, without judgment, without anyone looking at me like I was a crazy person, the good and the bad that had happened that day, and just receive kindness in return. And that safe space for me became an idea to provide safe space for all women.
Wow.
To be able to tell their stories, because we should work in community, because we take on a lot emotionally, physically, families, business. We take it all on, and we should have support through our journeys.
Well, we absolutely wear a lot of hats as women all the time. You know, I have this conversation endlessly about how we show up for one another, how community matters, how relationships matter, all the things that you're saying. But it's very unusual to just walk in and just like bare your soul like you're saying that you did. So I think that's really amazing that you were able to, find a friend like that, especially, women at different stages of life. Adult friendships can be tricky.
Yes.
So I think that's really a blessing that that path that seems to be no accident that you, and I think her name is Bridget.
Yes. Bridget Snell. And super funny, I stalked her on Facebook when I got home that night.
Of course you did.
Apologized and told my husband that he now had to go to karate and sit in the waiting room because I couldn't go back because But everything is meant to be. I believe the universe places us where we're supposed to be and introduces us to people who we're supposed to meet.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly believe that there are no accidents. Everything is, you are meant to be where the people, the circumstances, all those things are definitely very intentional, and you only see a portion of that at a time. So when you look back at your life, like you see where these, very, really instrumental meetings happened, why things happened, why things didn't happen, and why things were maybe put in your path or taken away. And it's hard to see in the moment. So having a good friend along that journey is really, really, it's everything. So
it's everything.
So you're going to have to fill in a gap for me here, because you don't go from sitting next to somebody in the waiting room to all of a sudden you have this magazine, which is how old now?
4 years.
4 years old. Okay. So that's kind of a leap. So
it is.
How did you decide now, like what the content, where did this come from?
I hate to bring the C word into it, but we were in COVID, and
hey, well, I was strapping my safety belt. Okay, COVID. Yes,
COVID.
We'll just talk about the pandemic.
I know. Okay. We were in each other's worlds. Our kids became friends, and as we continued to grow closer, as our walls came down, and we started learning more about each other, and we're from very, very different pasts, but somehow we were colliding. She was a former editor and art director for magazines.
Oh, okay.
And I spent 20 years selling advertising and marketing between radio and print. And she just said to me one day, she's like, let's start a magazine. And I was like, oh, okay. And I agreed to it. I didn't even think twice. And I went to bed that night and I kind of like poked my husband, good night. Okay, good night. And I was like, by the way, I think I just agreed to start a magazine today. And he was like, can we talk about that tomorrow? But we just decided to try one, see what happened. And it was amazing.
So what happened? So who were some of your first stories that you told? Who were some of the first advertisers how did you find a printer? Like, tell me about this journey.
We call it the magic notebook. So after we said that, we said, well, what would we need to do to start a magazine? We both had experience in the industry in some way, shape, or form. And I went, and I'm a obsessive office supply girl. So I had a blank notebook on hand and I said, okay, let's make a list. What would you need to do to start a magazine? Okay, well, first we need content. Okay. Then we need to find a printer. We just went through and very simple list. Mm-hmm. And then we just answered and, check. Really blessed. And I think we knew we had something when in our first issue, we had a wonderful opportunity to talk with the chief operating officer of the Boys and Girls Club of America. Her name is Lorraine Orr. And when we scheduled time with her, she thought she was going to talk about her job, her position, being head of one of the largest, if not the largest,
So this is national level. Yeah.
National level.
Wow.
That's
a good get.
The number one person. And then it all goes down from there into the different chapters. And she ended up telling us more about the story of her childhood.
Wow.
And how she grew up, where she grew up, her family, her experiences, her personal experience as part of the Boys and Girls Club as a young child, and growing up as a young Black woman in the South in the 60s, and also being gay. And it was nothing about the Boys and Girls Club, but how did she get to this work? Mm-hmm. And she started crying at one point.
Oh, wow.
And, and we said, we have something here. It's great to talk about the successes. It's great to talk about the moments that you reach the climb. Sobriety, day 365, posted on Facebook. Yay, day 365. And we always say, but I want to know what happened on day 136.
Right.
I want to know what happened on day 215. Those are the things I think that we need to share with each other, because that's where the work is. And that's where the growth comes. To hear Lorraine tell the story of losing a cousin because this white person hit their cousin and nothing happened.
Oh, wow.
And we were, but that was that was not that long ago.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And this is super powerful for someone to open up to you like that. So you really are masterful at getting people to share their stories with you. And I think that there's something magical that happens when you do drop the veil and you are more vulnerable and you let people in and you tell your full story without shame and you can stand in your truth and say, this is what happened and this is how I overcome challenges and this is what I do with it today. And this is not defining my life. This is what happened to me, but this is how I responded. And there's great power and strength in that. And I think that people really need to see how people overcome challenges.
Yes. And they've been good, positive experiences, obstacles, but Lorraine, a woman who made a documentary film about her mother surviving the Holocaust as a young child, but then finding love after 60. That was a really fun story to hear. It was, they all end up hopeful. Two women who have been best friends for 45 years across 2 continents.
Oh, wow.
Met once in a playground in New York, Australia, United States, and they continue. And we tracked their journey. They pulled out letters from airmail, special stationery, and then it turned to email, and then it turned to text, then it turned to family vacations.
That's amazing.
A 45-year friendship across 2 continents.
That's amazing.
The stories are really
amazing. And that Golden Bachelor, I mean, that's very popular right now. So yes, that's a good story. Yeah, for sure. Yes. So you have a little bit of everything. I love that. So are you a subscription based? What's the model? How can people find your magazine?
So we are a subscription based magazine. You can subscribe at pinkchairstorytellers with an S.com. We will send we're quarterly, so 4 issues a year. And it's feel good stories. They'll always end and you'll walk away from a story feeling hopeful. And I think more open to the world around you. Also, maybe more compassionate as you go through your day because you'll remember that everyone has a story that they come to the table with.
Everyone does. And strong women lift each other up. So I think you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you. I can't wait to see what's next. And Marci, thanks for buzzing by.
Thank you so much for having me, Valerie. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure was all mine.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody. Stay tuned for the next time people buzz by the South Shore Hive. Bye-bye. This episode of What's the Buzz has been brought to you by Cote Law Group. We thank you for your generous support. When it comes to wills, trusts, and estate planning, they're the team you can trust.